It's frightening to imagine that this is the same man today.
Perfect fit.
If an individual's body weight is 20% or more below their optimal body weight, the individual is grossly underweight, which is cause for greater concern. Join us as we look at 20 of the thinnest people in the world. 20. Tom Staniford. Only 7 people in the world, including Tom Staniford, one of Britain's top paracyclists, have a mysterious ailment that prevents the deposit of fat beneath the skin. Tom Staniford loathed being lifted as a toddler, which his parents couldn't understand. At the age of 12, he started losing fat on his face, limbs, and even the soles of his feet. In addition, his hearing deteriorated. His parents got increasingly bewildered and concerned. It's a sad irony that he's also developed type 2 diabetes, which is typically connected with fat. His failure to digest fat normally has rendered his cells resistant to insulin, the hormone responsible for controlling blood sugar levels. Like other type 2 diabetics, he must check his diet and take medicine to control his blood sugar levels. Tom, 6 feet 3 inches, weighs just 64 kilograms as a result of MDP syndrome, and, as he himself admits, his wizened appearance gives the impression that he is significantly older than his years. Without the natural cushioning supplied by subcutaneous fat, his limbs get stiff quickly, and he is more susceptible to fracture in any bike accident. It's a given that life is a delicate journey for Tom. 19. Elizabeth Ann Velasquez. Lizzy Velasquez was told she was the ugliest woman in the world, but she didn't let it sink her. She is now a highly sought-after motivational speaker who inspires people all around the world. Lizzy was born 4 weeks before her due date in 1989. The ailment itself is so uncommon that it does not even have a name, and it is thought to affect only 2 other people on the planet. Lizzy was 17 years old when she gave an interview to a local television station. When Lizzy discovered the video, it had already gained 4 million views and was accompanied by a slew of terrible comments. Lizzy felt heartbroken. She had already been bullied for much of her life, but this time, she felt genuinely crushing sorrow. Fortunately, Lizzy's parents had a different perspective and told her she could have one good weep and then pick herself up. Since then, Lizzy has dedicated her life to fighting cyberbullying and negative body image, and she has established herself as an internationally sought-after motivational speaker. 18. Valeria Levon. An anorexia patient dubbed the world's thinnest woman has spoken of her surprise at becoming a role model for teenage girls seeking to emulate her skeleton form. She wants to share her tale to prevent others from suffering the same fate as she did. Anorexia has made her lonely, unsightly. Levon hopes that publishing explicit photographs of her condition will discourage individuals from succumbing to anorexia and highlight the hazards of the illness. Many designers believe that their clothes look better on slimmer models, therefore they send samples for catwalks and photo shoots that can only be worn by women who fit into a small size. They should be healthy looking and athletic. Not obese, but not skinny, the way they are. It's great that Valeria is raising awareness about her condition. 17. Christian Bale. Oscar-winning actor Christian Bale is unquestionably one of the most versatile actors on the planet. He is well known for his many roles and depictions, as well as his passion for the art of filmmaking. Bale has undergone substantial physical alterations for the sake of the characters he has played, and his remarkable performances have wowed audiences. The Machinist featured Bale's most surprising physical shift. Bale shed approximately 65 pounds and to weigh about 130 pounds because of his strict diet. In the film, Bale played the title character, who suffered from delusions, anxiety, and paranoia as a result of not sleeping for a year. 16. Isabelle Caro. Isabelle Caro was a French model and actress from Marseille, France, who rose to prominence after participating in the controversial No Anorexia advertising campaign, which featured Caro with vertebrae and facial bones visible beneath her skin in a photograph by Oliviero Toscani. Caro suffered from severe anorexia nervosa since the age of 13. Her anorexia was induced by what she described as a troubled childhood. Caro was admitted to the hospital for the first time at the age of 20 after falling into a coma. The doctor said she wouldn't survive the coma, yet she did. Caro died on November 17, 2010 in France, after spending 2 weeks in the hospital with acute respiratory sickness. 15. Maria and Katie Campbell. A pair of identical twin sisters have revealed how their father's casual comment when they were 11 launched them on the path to anorexia. Maria and Katie Campbell, who both weigh less than 84 pounds, they were standing at the top of the stairs when their father mentioned they were gaining hips. They were angered by their father's remark and declared that if they stopped eating, they would lose their hips. The twins, who grew up in Wandsworth, realize they may never recover from the disease, but they are enrolling in another facility for several months in an effort to overcome it. 14. Jeremy Gillitzer. You may not have heard of Jeremy Gillitzer, but if you haven't, you're missing out on a really interesting dude. Jeremy, a former model, struggled with anorexia for several years. When he died, he barely resembled himself, weighing just 68 pounds. Although Jeremy was a severe case, eating disorders affect more guys than ever before. Harvard researchers announced the findings of the first big national mental health survey to cover eating disorders. It discovered that men accounted for 25% of anorexia and bulimia cases and 40% of binge eaters. 13. Iana Spangenberg. People would conclude that this model's incredibly tiny waist was a Photoshop construct if there was no video footage to prove otherwise. The footage of 30-year-old Romanian model Iana Spangenberg, revealing her jaw-dropping 20-inch waist while dressed in a tight-fitting, glittering silver dress, has gone viral. The model insists on eating 3 big meals every day and has not used tight diets to maintain her ultra-slim abdomen, which is typically achieved by wearing a corset. 12. Lena Marie Faun. When she was 10 years old, Lena Marie Faun stopped eating. For the next 20 years, she suffered from anorexia, a severe condition that prevented her from reaching puberty, as she lived in an emaciated child's body until her death in October 2019. Over several years, her talent and dedication appeared to be the only things capable of defeating this illness. However, once anorexia has set in, it is difficult to overcome. Faun's experience living with anorexia and pursuing photography as a creative release is fraught with inconsistencies. The temptation to create is balanced against the compulsion to self-destruct. The impulse to shrink, literally, away from the world appears to be in direct conflict with the desire to expose herself emotionally and physically. Her journey into anorexia as an anxious child was about gaining control over one element of her life in the face of uncertainty. But who has power? Lena Marie or her disease, which she described as a prison where the illness made all the decisions. Her statements are quite remarkable. She said at one time that no matter how serious her health was, she always wanted to live, but then, darkly, referred to her disorder as a slow suicide. In our thumbnail, on the left, we can see an older woman who is too skinny to describe, and on the right, what appears to be the skeletal version of the same person. 11. Michelle Koga. Michelle Koga has used corsets for 3 years to reduce her 25-inch waist to a modest 21 inches. The 24-year-old from Germany only removes her corset to shower. She even sleeps in it. She began binding at the end of 2009 and can bind her waist to 16 inches. Her goal is 14.9 inches. If she succeeds, she will have outshrunk the current Guinness World Record holder, Kathy Young, whose waist is only 15 inches. She also experiences shortness of breath and has difficulties supporting herself without a corset. 10. Christina Koga. A doctor has advised an anorexic woman who weighs the same as a 4-year-old that she could easily be cast in a horror film because of her looks. Christina Koga from Russia weighs only 17 kilograms after failing to eat properly during her high school years. Her doctor has now cautioned the 26-year-old that her malnourished condition may lead to her being cast as a living corpse. The doctor is treating Miss Koga for free after reality. TV actress Maria Kokno launched a campaign on her behalf through her 520,000 Instagram followers. Miss Kokno, who starred in Doma 2, was previously treated for anorexia, so she understands what it's like to be given a meal and be unable to eat it, even when you know you're dying. Miss Koga stopped eating properly throughout her high school years, where she lived on small portions of bananas and apples. She eventually graduated from law school, but her disease worsened and she was unable to leave her apartment. Miss Koga's doctor believes that if she can learn to laugh at her disease, she could start to recover. 9. Jordan. Jordan was a 23-year-old with an eating disorder. She weighed 75 pounds. The woman confessed to Dr. Phil that she was doing this to become the best anorexic in the world while participating in his show. Jordan weighed 75 pounds and ate only a cup of cereal with a tablespoon of yogurt every day. However, she would occasionally go without eating for an entire day. She also avoided using body lotions for fear that they would contain calories. Doctors had frequently warned Jordan that she had an enlarged heart and could die at any time. Nonetheless, the 23-year-old wanted to drop weight. Until recently, her unhealthy goal was to reach 75 pounds. However, once she accomplished this, she wished to weigh even less. Her anorexia is a form of retaliation against her mother, who has pointed out to her for the past 10 years that she has been unable to conquer her illness. Jordan has overcome anorexia after years of struggle. She currently has an excellent relationship with her mother. She also discovered the love of her life and had baby twins. 8. Ruth Luan. One woman's obsession with tight-laced corsets resulted in a waist that is hardly bigger than a can of soda. Corsets, which date back to the 16th century, were originally created to support a woman's torso and create a sleek shape. However, over time, the practice of tight-laced corseting produced some jaw-dropping outcomes, such as Ruth Luan's waist measurement of just 11.8 inches. This Mexican ballet dancer, stunt performer, and underwater mermaid devoted her life to tight-lacing corsets, which transformed her waist. The 24-year-old began corseting 5 years ago after being diagnosed with hyperlaxity syndrome, a rare muscle and ligament disorder. Her doctor suggested she wear a corset to treat her discomfort. Instead of allowing her ailment to define her, she used tight-laced corseting to not only relieve her discomfort, but also reshape her waist. 7. Rachel Farro. An anorexic sufferer's desperate public plea for treatment has moved others on social media. After a 10-year fight with cancer, Rachel Farro, 37, now weighs 40 pounds and requires specialized treatment to survive. The actress from Southern California resorted to YouTube to gather funds for the medical therapy she needs. Farro defined her ailment as a psychological disease that led to biological pains and sorrows in her touching YouTube plea. For over a decade, she has sought treatment for this condition, while no hospitals will even admit her at this point. The good news is that she has earned almost $175,000 in 24 days from more than 6,770 donors, and now has enough money to begin therapy, initially at home, until she is well enough to fly. 6. Abby Solomon. When Abby Solomon dropped out of college, she took up a hobby common among Austinites in their early 20s: local music. Far from the stereotypical slacker townie, grappling with existential quandaries, she sought rest after a series of surgeries required by her unique genetic condition. Solomon's unusual disease, caused by a mutation in the FBN1 gene, damages the soft layer of fat beneath her skin, resulting in severe deformity of her eyes and nose. Years ago, pain and complications caused her to quit the University of Texas after 2 years of studies. An unrelenting schedule of surgeries required rehabilitation for much of 2015 and 2016. Despite continuing to suffer from eye pain and back problems caused by her unique genetic abnormality, she claims things are improving. Her days are spent attending physician's appointments, researching independent label releases, scrolling through an endless stream of local concert events, and assisting her parents, while she hopes to acquire a job shortly. 5. Anna Carolina Reston. Anna Carolina Reston, 21, died as a result of mounting criticism of the use of underweight models in the fashion industry, a problem made more pressing by the death of Uruguayan model Luisel Ramos from heart failure during a fashion show in Montevideo. Reston died of a widespread infection caused by anorexia, an eating condition in which sufferers aggressively restrict their food intake in order to achieve an ultra-slim physique. Reston weighed barely 88 pounds and stood approximately 5 feet 8 inches tall. Doctors consider this weight normal for a 12-year-old girl who is no taller than roughly 5 feet. Many top models come from Brazil, and hundreds of young girls from all walks of life aspire to be models, inspired by Gisele Bündchen and Adriana Lima's international success. Reston was not well known, although she had worked internationally, particularly in Japan, and for Giorgio Armani and the Brazilian modeling agency L'Equipe, both of which declined to make any comments after Reston's death. 4. Anne Ward. Tyra Banks, a voluptuous former Victoria's Secret model, said she was overjoyed to have Anne Ward as America's Next Top Model 15th winner and saw no issue with her body type. Banks, a confidant to her contestants who frequently deal with body image, says she is sticking to her promise to broaden the concept of beauty to encompass all shapes, sizes, and proportions, from slender to curvaceous and everything in between. Ward's slim figure was not always lauded, however. She was bullied at school and said that everyone who teased her would later regret their actions. Whether Ward received the apologies she deserved, I'm sure she felt relieved when she received her first check. Ward won and was featured on the cover of Italian Vogue, had 1 year of IMG representation, and a $100,000 CoverGirl Cosmetics contract. 3. Sarah Vaeth. A mother of one aims to beat the world record for the tiniest waist by reducing her midsection to a mere 15 inches. Sarah Vaith, 43 of Portland, Oregon, is a painter who enjoys extreme corseting. She has managed to shrink her waist size to 16 inches since 2014, and now hopes to match the world's tiniest waist, which is presently 15 inches. Sarah wears a corset virtually every day for 16 to 20 hours. Sarah found it much more difficult to get from 18 to 16 inches than to get down to 18 inches. Sarah wanted to improve her posture after sitting down all day painting, so she became interested in corsets. She had to take a vacation from corseting when she became pregnant with her daughter a few years ago, but later resumed. When asked about the potential harm that excessive corseting could cause, she stated that no evidence exists to prove that anything bad could happen. 2. Natalia Jula. Natalia Jula stopped eating after breaking up with the man she loved. Her lack of eating influenced her body, as evidenced by her bulging pelvic bones. Her back narrowed, making the ribs protrude further. Natalia, unlike many of the anorexics we have seen so far, is not universally regarded as unusual. On the contrary, several people have described her body as sexy and aesthetically pleasing. She weighs a little over 25 kilograms. 1. Eugenia Cooney. Eugenia Cooney, a YouTuber, aroused outrage after posting a video exposing her slender body. Fans pleaded for assistance and blocked her. Eugenia, 29, is active on all major social media platforms. With 1.6 million TikTok followers, 2.1 million YouTube subscribers, 67K Instagram followers, and 437K Twitch fans. She's been a contentious figure since 2013, when she started releasing beauty videos. Her latest Barbie video has rekindled worries, with many wishing to start a petition to prohibit her. While some are flocking to Eugenia for her makeup suggestions, many have long been concerned about her worryingly thin frame, which has been brought to the forefront of online conversations once more after she shared another video of herself. Viewers flooded the comments area of her latest Barbie video, which has received over 16 million views. Many others urged the vlogger to seek treatment, describing the situation as sad and scary. Cooney appeared in a documentary on YouTuber Shane Dawson's channel in 2019, following a hiatus to focus on her health. In the video, she acknowledged that she had an eating disorder and was going to therapy. It's sad to see so many people inflicted by anorexia. I can just imagine how difficult it must be for all of them. Which one was your favorite? Why don't you let us know in the comments below? Well, that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give us a like and let us know in the comments what you think. Check out our other videos and subscribe to be part of the fun. Click on the notification icon so you can see our new videos as soon as they're uploaded. Thank you for watching and see you next time.